First, he captured a president. Now world leaders are freaked out that Trump is about to capture a country. While Europe panics about an imminent invasion and the collapse of NATO, Trump is playing a completely different game. And if you understand what's really at stake, you'll see why this could be the most important real estate deal in American history. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, celebrating yet another day of the Trumpian golden age that you made possible back in November of 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Fresh off his historic military operation that successfully arrested Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, President Trump has renewed his intention on making Greenland a part of the United States.
I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you. You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true.
Sir,
they thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it, and they know that.
There is much concern right now, particularly among European leaders, that Trump is going to take Greenland by force, effectively invading it akin to what he did in Venezuela. But a number of analysts are noting that Trump doesn't want to actually invade Greenland. Instead, the threats of military invasion are a negotiating ploy. It's there to create chaos, then get the best deal. And now it appears we have confirmation of that. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has formally briefed Congress that Trump intends to buy Greenland, not seize it by force. At least that's what we're being told. The briefing, which originally focused on Venezuela, nevertheless reportedly took a quick turn to Greenland, given Trump's recent remarks, as well as what Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller just said.
It has been the formal position of the U.S. government since the beginning of this administration, frankly, going back into the previous Trump administration, that Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Right, but can you say that military action against Greenland is off the table?
It wouldn't be military action against Greenland. The Greenland has a population of 30,000 people, Jake. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? What is their basis of having Greenland as a colony of Denmark? The United States is the power of NATO. For the United States to secure the Arctic region, to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States. And so that's a conversation that we're going to have as a country. That's a process we're going to have as a community of nations.
So you can't take it off the table that the U.S. would use military force to seize Greenland. You can't take it off the table.
Jake, I understand you're trying very hard to, which again, is your job. I respect it. It's great to get exactly the headline, right? That catchy headline.
I'm trying to get an answer to the question.
That says Miller refuses to rule out. The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland. So
one last question, Stephen.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yes, but you will notice that Stephen Miller, like Trump, didn't take a military takeover off the table. Now, of course, part of the absurdity that Miller is getting at there is that there would be no military resistance were the United States to take over Greenland. We could simply do it. There's nothing Denmark or anyone else could do to stop us. Well, that's precisely why European leaders are losing their minds over this. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen warned that a United States acquisition of Greenland would immediately dismantle NATO, which is the most patently absurd bluff imaginable. Dismantle NATO? I mean, first off, don't tempt us. I personally love the idea of NATO being disbanded, as apparently Trump does as well. But what would the dismantling of NATO mean? I mean, like, automatically. It would mean that every NATO member country in Europe would have to do what? They'd all be forced to pay for their own militaries. Their welfare states would collapse overnight. The only reason why Europe has been able to set up their extensive welfare states is because we, the American taxpayer, overwhelmingly subsidize their militaries. They know they don't have to do jack. As long as the United States is protecting them, they can spend the absolute minimum on their own national defense. Obviously, these European vassal states, which is effectively what they've become since World War II, aren't going to do that. So that's an obviously pathetic bluff on the part of Denmark's prime minister. She should know better. But the king of bluffs comes from the chair of Austria's NATO Enlargement Committee. Yes, you heard that right. There is actually a position known as NATO Enlargement. He's warning that if President Trump takes Greenland, I kid you not, Europe will seize U.S. bases.
If you take it, we take every single base of the Americans from Aviano to Ramstein, from Romania to all the other military bases will be confiscated and you will lose it. And the whole position of American power since World War II, if you take Greenland, you have to leave. It's very simple, Mrs. Miller. This is the leverage we have. You need these bases for global power protection. You won't have it. And we can defend ourselves very well, and we will do that without the US nuclear shield, without the US troops in Europe, without the American bases. We will simply run these bases ourselves, and we run your boys home into Chicago and Ohio. And goodbye. If you go extreme, we go extreme as well. Be sure about it.
You shall be sure about it. It's like being lectured to by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Again, this is blatantly comical. There's been no governmental institutions on the planet that have become more soft and compliant and docile than the globalist infected European governments. And again, Trump knows that. So perhaps that's why France and Germany are hitting the panic button. They're coordinating a European response to Trump's Greenland threats. Yes, it's a response, a joint statement declaring, quote, Greenland belongs to its people, and that only Denmark and Greenland can decide their future. And what is Politico reporting? European officials are all privately admitting that they obviously will not confront the United States militarily over this issue. With what military? We are their military when all's said and done. I mean, it's just so patently absurd. So it's becoming increasingly the consensus that Greenland is there for the taking. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when, which of course raises the question why. Why on earth is it so imperative for Trump that the United States take over Greenland? As it turns out, it goes way beyond just national security. The real answer is going to absolutely blow you away. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor. I got something brand new for you. My weekly wrap-up every Friday. You're going to get one powerful email with replays of my live streams, top videos and podcasts, upcoming events, and Patriot wins from our community. It's your weekly dose of encouragement, faith, and celebration, all in one place, delivered straight to your inbox. Don't miss out. Sign up free at turley.pub/recap. Take a look at this map. In a picture, that is why Trump wants Greenland. As you can see, acquiring Greenland forms a near complete circle around Canada, while at the same time, the newly liberated Venezuela secures Central America. It's a massive hemispheric circle drawn ultimately around the United States as its center, as officially the civilization state of North America. Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand this concept of a civilization state to truly appreciate what Trump is doing here. All the talk in the world about national security and energy and economics and like misses the larger geopolitical picture of what's happening here, the incredibly dramatic geopolitical picture. As globalist structures like the UN and the IMF and the WTO and the WEF basically collapse, the world is seeing a reawakening of the great ancient civilizations of the past, rising up in the form of what scholars are calling civilization states. And these are states that are redrawing their boundaries around ancient civilizational spheres, like the Slavic Orthodox world of Imperial Russia and the Sinosphere of ancient China, the rise of Hindu nationalist India or Neo-Ottoman Turkey. Now, the key with civilization states is that unlike globalist structures, their point of organizational unification is not centered on transnational political and economic protocols, on scientific systems like we see with the WTO or the IMF. Instead, the central focus of civilization states is cultural unity, historical continuity, and the promotion of a shared identity among their citizens. Civilization states are worlds within the world, a sovereign, often multinational sphere that's united by a common core cultural identity. Orthodox identity, Sino identity, Indian identity, Shiite identity, Sunni identity, Ottoman. Again, these are worlds within the world, sovereign civilizational spheres that forge their own autonomous society that's governed by common cultural and historical and religious ties. So China's emphasis on Confucian values and Russia's appeal to Orthodox Christianity serve as foundational elements in their respective national identities and foreign policies. And that is precisely what Trump is doing here with Greenland. He is repositioning the United States as a civilizationalist center within a growing multipolar civilizationalist world. Again, the key here is that there are no transnational institutions that can govern us or save us any longer. The UN is dead. The EU is dead. The WTO is dead. The WEF is most certainly and thankfully dead. Transnational globalist institutions are a thing of the past. The world is now, as we speak, being reorganized around multiple civilizationalist spheres. And Trump, unlike CNN or MSNBC, Trump recognizes this and is positioning the United States as one of the chief civilizationalist poles in this rising civilizationalist world. So the world is reconfiguring as we speak. It's not just Eastern Ukraine getting absorbed into Russia. It's not just Britain seceding from the EU. It's not just Taiwan threatened with annexation by China or India's policies towards Kashmir. It's all of those, but they're all merely symptoms. The world as a whole is reorganizing. It's recalibrating around grand civilizational spheres where an uncontested political power has ultimate custodial responsibility over a shared cultural and geographic space. And both Venezuela and Greenland are finding out that they are, in effect, again, for right or for wrong, this is just simply what is happening. They are being sucked into the gravitational pull of that cosmic sphere, as it were. Again, the key here is that this is happening whether anyone likes it or not. The globalist era is dead. It has come to an end. The era of civilization states is rising. And as a result, it looks like Greenland is about to get new ownership.